Let me ask you something that nobody in the self-help world wants to answer honestly. If working harder and wanting money more were the keys to wealth, why are the most desperate, money-obsessed people you know also the most broke? Think about that for a second. And now, think about this. Marcus Aurelius controlled an empire worth, in today's money, over $4 trillion. Seneca was so wealthy that ancient historians describe him as one of the richest private citizens in all of Rome. Crassus, the Roman general, accumulated a fortune equivalent to what some economists estimate was 1% of the entire Roman economy. And every single one of these men wrote at length, obsessively, about why you should not care about money. Not as a spiritual exercise, not as humble bragging, but as a dead serious operating system for how they ran their minds, their decisions, and their lives. Here is the paradox that is going to change everything you thought you knew about building wealth. The men who cared the least about money, on a psychological level, accumulated the most of it. And the men who chased it the hardest, who woke up every morning grinding and obsessing and grinding some more, ended up serving money instead of commanding it. That is not a coincidence. That is a code. And today, I'm going to break it wide open. Welcome. This is Dominion Thesis. And this is the Stoic Wealth Code. Section 1. The lie they sold you. You have been sold a story. And the story goes like this. Hustle harder. Want it more. Visualize the mansion, the car, the life. Post your goals on the mirror. Tell yourself you deserve it. Grind when others sleep. Rise and grind. Stay hungry. And for a while, maybe it even worked. You got a little momentum. You made some money. But then something strange happened. The more you chased it, the more it felt like it was running from you. The more you needed it, the more your decisions started to crack under the pressure of that need. You took deals you shouldn't have taken. You held on to things you should have let go. You panicked when the market moved. You got greedy when it shouldn't have mattered. Sound familiar? Here's what the Stoics understood 2,000 years before behavioral economists put a name to it. Desperation is a wealth repellent, not in some mystical law of attraction sense, in a completely mechanical, psychological, decision-making sense. When your emotional state is attached to the outcome of every financial decision, you cannot think clearly. You cannot negotiate from a position of strength. You cannot walk away from bad deals. You cannot hold assets through volatility. You cannot take the long view when the short-term pain is eating you alive. Epictetus said it bluntly. He said, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." That is not passivity. That is not giving up. That is the deliberate psychological engineering of a mind that cannot be broken by external circumstances, including financial ones. And a mind that cannot be broken by financial pressure is a mind that will, over time, outperform every desperate, emotional, reactive competitor in the market. Section 2. Who Seneca actually was. Let me tell you something about Seneca that most people skip right over. Seneca was not a monk. He was not living in poverty, writing about detachment from a cave somewhere. He was worth the equivalent of $300 million in today's money. He owned multiple estates across Italy and Spain. He advised the most powerful ruler on the planet. He was plugged into every major financial and political network in the Roman world. And he wrote, in his letters, which survive to this day, about the psychological prison that money creates when you let it own your mind. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." Read that again. Slowly. He is not saying wealth is wrong. He built extraordinary wealth. He is saying that the craving, the psychological dependency on the accumulation of more, is what makes a man poor in the most dangerous sense. Poor in judgment, poor in peace, poor in freedom. Seneca understood something that takes most people decades to learn. There are two kinds of wealthy people. The first kind has money, but money also has them. Their mood follows the market. Their identity is tied to their net worth. They cannot make a decision without first calculating what it does to their financial position. They are technically rich and psychologically enslaved. The second kind has money. Period. The money does not have them back. Their identity exists independent of their balance sheet. They can lose a deal and sleep soundly. They can watch an asset drop in value and think rationally instead of panicking. They can walk away from a negotiation because they do not need it. And that very willingness to walk away is what makes the other side chase them. Seneca was the second kind. Marcus Aurelius was the second kind. And the Stoic Wealth Code is a manual for becoming the second kind. Section 3. The Dichotomy of Control, and why it is the greatest financial tool ever invented. Epictetus was a former slave. Let that land for a moment. He had nothing. Literally nothing. His master once broke his leg in a demonstration of power, just to show Epictetus he could. And Epictetus looked up at him and said calmly, "You are going to break it." And when the bone snapped, he said, "Did I not tell you, that man, with no money, no freedom, no rights, developed the single most powerful mental framework in human history, the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us. Some things are not up to us. What is up to us? Our judgments, our impulses, our desires, our decisions, our response to everything. What is not up to us? The economy, the market, interest rates, inflation, other people's decisions, geopolitical events, recessions, tax policy, the behavior of competitors, the timing of opportunities. Now apply this to wealth building and watch what happens. Most people spend 90% of their mental and emotional energy on things that are not up to them. They obsess over the market. They rage at inflation. They blame the government, the system, the rich, the banks. They spend enormous amounts of psychological capital on variables they cannot influence. And in doing so, they deplete the very mental resources they need to make excellent decisions with the variables they can control. The Stoic wealth builder flips this completely. He does not waste a single unit of mental energy on the uncontrollable. He cannot control what the market does next month. Accepted. He cannot control whether interest rates rise or fall. Accepted. He cannot control whether a competitor undercuts him. Accepted. What he can control is his savings rate, his skill development, his risk framework, his negotiation behavior, his spending discipline, his investment consistency, his network, his knowledge. And by concentrating 100% of his fire on those controllable variables, he builds a compounding advantage over every emotional, reactive, externally focused competitor around him. This is not philosophy. This is a wealth strategy, and it is one of the most underrated ones in existence. Section 4. Memento Mori, the death that makes you rich. I know what that sounds like. Bear with me. The Stoics had a practice called Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. They were not being morbid. They were being precise. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, his private journal, never meant to be published, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That is not a reminder to be depressed. That is a time horizon reset. Here is what Memento Mori does to your financial decision-making when you actually apply it. First, it eliminates the endless deferral trap. Most people live as though they have unlimited time. They will start saving next year. They will start investing when they feel ready. They will take the shot when conditions are perfect. Memento Mori destroys that delusion. Time is not unlimited. The compound curve does not care about your readiness. Every year you delay is a year of compounding you will never get back. Second, it recalibrates what you are actually building wealth for. When you genuinely internalize your own mortality, the question shifts from, "How do I get more?" to, "What does this wealth actually need to accomplish in the time I have?" That is a radically different question, and it leads to radically different and better financial decisions. Third, it makes you immune to peer pressure spending. The Joneses lose all their power over you when you are thinking in terms of your actual life and your actual values. The man who knows he is going to die has no interest in impressing people. He does not respect with money. He has not yet earned to buy things he does not need. Seneca wrote, Omnia aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum est. Everything is alien to us. Only time is ours. If time is the only true wealth, and the Stoics believe this without reservation, then every financial decision becomes a question of whether you are buying more time and freedom or selling it for the illusion of status. That reframing alone is worth more than any financial advice you will ever receive. Section 5. Voluntary discomfort. The practice that builds an unbreakable financial mind. Here is where the Stoics get brutally practical in a way that most modern self-help refuses to go. They prescribed voluntary discomfort as a regular practice. Seneca wrote that every few months he would spend several days living as if he were poor. Coarse food, simple clothing, no luxuries, not because he had to, but because he wanted to prove to himself and train his nervous system to know that he could survive it. He wrote, Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, Is this the condition that I feared? Now think about what this does to your relationship with financial risk. Most people cannot take bold financial moves, cannot start the business, cannot make the investment, cannot negotiate hard, because they are terrified of what happens if they lose. The fear of losing their comfort, their lifestyle, their status, paralyzes their decision-making. The Stoic who has practiced voluntary discomfort has already lived through the worst-case scenario in his mind and body. He knows exactly what it feels like to have less. And he knows, viscerally, not just intellectually, that he can survive it, even thrive in it. That knowledge is a superpower in negotiation, in entrepreneurship, in investing. When you are not afraid of losing the lifestyle, you can negotiate from total strength. You can hold out for the right deal. You can let the bad opportunity walk. You can sit on cash when the market is irrational. You can double down when others are panicking. Voluntary discomfort is not self-punishment. It is inoculation against the fear that makes other people make terrible decisions with their money. Section 6. The Stoic approach to income. Build like a general, not like a soldier. Marcus Aurelius commanded the largest military in the known world. But he did not fight like a soldier. He thought like a general. The distinction matters enormously when applied to income. Most people approach income generation like a soldier. They trade time directly for money. They show up, they work, they get paid. If they stop showing up, the money stops. They are in the field, exposed to every change in conditions, manually executing every single day just to stay alive financially. The Stoic wealth strategy thinks like a general. The general builds systems. He positions assets. He trains other people to execute. He creates leverage. He conserves his own energy for the decisions that only he can make, and he builds structures that work even when he steps off the battlefield. This maps directly to the modern wealth playbook. Active income is soldier work, necessary to start, but it is the floor, not the ceiling. The Stoic wealth builder uses his active income to fund the construction of general-level systems, investments that work while he sleeps, businesses that do not require his physical presence at every moment, skills so rare and valuable that he commands premium rates and controls his time, assets that generate returns independent of his daily effort. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." That principle, applied to wealth, means this: do not take the fast money that costs you your integrity, your leverage, or your long-term position. The Stoic general is always thinking in terms of positioning, not just in terms of today's battle. Short-term sacrifice for long-term dominance is not just a financial strategy, it is a Stoic virtue. Section 7. Amor fati. Loving what is and using it as fuel. This concept does not come from the original Stoics. It was articulated most powerfully by Nietzsche, who was deeply influenced by Stoic thought. But it captures something the Stoics lived completely. Amor fati. Love of fate. not merely accepting what happens to you, not tolerating it, loving it, using it. Nietzsche wrote, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." Now apply this to your financial journey. Every setback you have experienced financially, every business that failed, every investment that went wrong, every opportunity you missed, the Stoic does not grieve these. He mines them. The failed business taught him something about the market that no course could have taught him. The bad investment taught him something about his own emotional triggers and risk tolerance that no book covers. The missed opportunity revealed something about his decision-making process that needed to be fixed. Amor fati turns every financial loss into a data point. And data points, properly mined, are worth more than whatever the loss cost. The wealthiest people in the world are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed faster, extracted more signal from each failure, and compounded their learning at a rate that everyone else could not match. The Stoic does not waste a single piece of his experience. Everything is fuel. Section 8. The Stoic Wealth Code. The full framework. Let me now pull everything together into a framework you can actually use. The Stoic Wealth Code has 5 pillars. Pillar 1. Psychological independence from money. Your identity, your mood, your self-worth cannot be tied to your financial position. This is not easy to build. It requires deliberate practice. Journaling, voluntary discomfort exercises, regular reviews of your actual values versus your spending. But it is the foundation. Without it, every other pillar crumbles under emotional pressure. Pillar 2. Total control focus. Every morning you audit your financial energy. Are you spending it on things within your control or outside it? You build a ruthless filter. Market news that you cannot act on. Out. Economic fear-mongering. Out. Competitor obsession. Out. Savings rate. Skill development. Relationship capital. Investment discipline. Decision quality. In. 100% of your financial mental energy goes to the controllable. Pillar 3. Long-time horizon, backed by mortality awareness. You think in decades. You use Memento Mori not to despair, but to prioritize. Every financial decision gets tested against the question, is this building the life I actually want to live in the time I actually have? This kills lifestyle inflation. It kills peer pressure spending. It kills short-term thinking. Pillar 4. Voluntary discomfort as training. You deliberately and regularly practice living with less. Not because you have to, because you are building the psychological infrastructure to take bold risks without being paralyzed by fear of loss. You know what the bottom feels like. You know you can handle it. That knowledge is a weapon. Pillar 5. General thinking over soldier thinking. You are always asking, how do I build a system here instead of manually executing? How do I create leverage? How do I position assets, skills, and relationships so that my wealth compounds independent of my daily presence? The soldier earns. The general builds. You are building. That is the Stoic Wealth Code. Section 9. Why this works in 2026. I want to be direct with you about why this framework is not just philosophically interesting, but strategically urgent right now. We are living in the most volatile economic environment most of us have ever experienced. Inflation, AI disruption, market uncertainty, geopolitical chaos. The financial landscape is shifting faster than at any point in modern history. In volatile environments, emotional decision-making is catastrophic. The people who are going to get hurt the most in the next decade are the ones who are reacting to every headline, every market movement, every piece of economic noise with fear and desperation. They will panic sell at the bottom. They will FOMO buy at the top. They will take bad deals because they feel the pressure of time. They will avoid good opportunities because they are too scared of loss. The Stoic Wealth Builder, by contrast, is constructed specifically for this environment. His psychological independence from money means he does not panic when his portfolio drops. His control focus means he spends his energy on the inputs he can actually influence. His long-time horizon means he can hold through volatility that shakes everyone else out. His voluntary discomfort practice means he is not afraid of the worst case. And his general thinking means he has built systems that do not require him to be emotionally present at every moment. The ancient Stoics built this framework to survive empires falling, wars, plagues, and political chaos. It was designed for the world we are living in right now. Section 10. The practical daily implementation. Let me give you something concrete to walk away with. This is not theory. This is practice. The morning Stoic audit. Every single day. Wake up. Before you touch your phone, before you check the market, before you look at anything external, you spend 5 minutes with these 3 questions. Question 1. What financial actions are within my control today? You write them down. Specifically, execute on them with total focus. Question 2. What financial fears am I carrying that are attached to things outside my control? You name them. You label them as uncontrollable, and you deliberately let them go for the day. Question 3. Am I making this decision from strength or from fear? This question gets applied to every financial decision you face before you act. If the answer is fear, you wait. Fear-based financial decisions are almost always the wrong ones. The monthly voluntary discomfort practice. Once a month, you spend 2 to 3 days living deliberately below your normal standard. Simple food, no luxury spending, no entertainment subscriptions. You do this consciously, as a training exercise. And you journal what comes up. What fears surface? What attachments reveal themselves? What does this tell you about where your psychological weak points are? The quarterly mortality review. 4 times a year, you sit down and ask yourself the Memento Mori question seriously. If I have 20 years left, which I might or might not, is this financial path building toward what I actually want my life to be? Or am I on a treadmill that looks productive but is actually taking me nowhere? The annual general review. Once a year, you zoom out completely. You look at your wealth not as a collection of numbers, but as a system. Where is soldier work still happening that should be converted to general work? Where are you still manually executing things that should be systematized? What assets have you built that work without you? What skills have you developed that create leverage? What relationships have you invested in that open doors you cannot open alone? This is the Stoic Wealth Code in practice. This is not a weekend seminar. This is a lifelong operating system. Marcus Aurelius governed $4 trillion of empire. He died with less concern for money than most people show over a monthly bill. And that indifference, that sovereign, unshakable indifference to the outcome while remaining fully committed to the process, is the exact quality that made him capable of governing it. Seneca built $300 million of wealth, and he wrote, with complete sincerity, that the greatest poverty is the craving for more. Epictetus owned nothing, and he was the freest man in Rome. The Stoic Wealth Code is not about having less. It is about being owned by less. It is about building the kind of mind that money cannot control, that fear cannot paralyze, that losses cannot break. Because that mind, disciplined, clear, sovereign, long-term, will always, in any market, in any economy, in any era, accumulate more than the desperate one. Build the mind first. The wealth follows. That is the code. I will see you in the next one.